Hello, good evening, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon, depending where you are. So today on a weekend, on Sunday night, I am here with you to talk about the statement that was released by the African Union Commission on the condition or on what is happening in Nigeria, between Nigeria versus the United States after President Donald Trump's statement on that interview, saying that Christians in Nigeria are persecuted because of their religion, and it is President Trump said it's a concern. Now, without further ado, I will go and read the statement for you. And later on, I will reflect on the statement itself. I'm not going to even go if this thing, what Donald Trump said, or the US intervention in Nigeria is right or something, but I will reflect on the AU's statement itself. And number two, I will bring you also what Nigerians themselves and Africans are commenting, what is their reaction towards the US accusation of Nigeria of Christians persecution in the country. Okay, so let's go and read that statement together. So here is directly from the African Union website. The topic goes, or the title, the African Union Commission reaffirms commitment to Nigeria's sovereignty, religious freedom, and rule of law. And it reads, the African Union Commission, AUC, reiterates its unwavering commitment to the principles of sovereignty, non-interference, religious freedom, and the rule of law as enshrined in the African Union Constitutive Act and related instruments. The Commission notes with concern recent statements by the United States of America alleging that the government of Nigeria is complicit in targeted killing of Christians and threatening military action. The AUC, or the African Union Commission, emphasizes the following. Number one, the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a long-standing and valued member state of the African Union, playing a key role in regional stability, counterterrorism, peacekeeping initiatives, and continental integration. Number two, the African Union Commission fully respects Nigeria's sovereign right to manage its internal affairs, including security, religious freedom, and human rights, in line with its constitution and international obligations. Any external engagement must respect Nigeria's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and unity. Number three, the Commission supports Nigeria's repeated affirmation that its constitution guarantees freedom of religion and belief, and that the government rejects all forms of religious persecution. Number four, Nigeria faces complex security challenges affecting citizens of all phases, including violent extremist groups, banditry, communal violence, and resource-based conflicts. Are you with me? You're following, right? The AUC calls, still we are in number four, the African Union Commission calls for regional and international cooperation to support Nigeria and other African countries in strengthening capacity to respond to insecurity, protect all citizens, uphold human rights, and bring perpetrators of violence to justice. The African Union Commission remains ready to provide support through its peace and security architecture, capacity building programs, and strategic partnerships. I'm trying to hold it. Okay, number 5, the African Union Commission rejects any narrative that weaponizes religion or oversimplifies security challenges. Conflating all violence with a single religious target narrative may hinder effective solutions and destabilize communities. Number 6, African Union Commission urges external partners, including the United States, to engage Nigeria through diplomatic dialogue, intelligence sharing, and capacity building partnerships, while respecting Nigerian sovereignty rather than resorting to unilateral threats to military intervention, which could undermine continental peace, regional stability, and the African Union norms of peaceful conflict management. African Union Commission remains committed to support member states in promoting peace, security, human rights, and development while upholding sovereignty and non-interference. And for any media contacts, I have put there the spokesperson contact. Well, it's a very good statement. You know, the statement as itself, I don't think it has a problem. My problem is, look, now my reflection on the statement begins. First of all, it's a very selective response. What do I mean by selective? Selective in a sense that the African Union selectively responds to such threats by foreign governments against African governments or African countries. There has been a numerous threats by different governments in the West against African governments or African countries. But the African Union choose to to stay quiet and not to say anything. And when it suits it, it responds like this, which is a good statement by itself, but it's really laughable when it says, the AU, let's do it in our own way with AU's conflict management, peace building capacities, this and that, as if those programs are not funded by foreign governments. Now, I tell you what, that the African Union decided to respond or to react on the United States accusing religious persecution in Nigeria, because Nigeria is those, like big brothers. There are countries that are called big brothers in from the African Union member states, okay, who contribute more than the others. I don't know now, but at least that was the case 10 years ago. There were these 5 countries that we call them, or the African Union calls them. Anyone, if you're familiar with the African Union, or you worked there at some point of your life, or somehow familiar with its structure, you would know that 10 years ago, Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, and at that time, Libya, and also Algeria. Libya, actually, before it was all torn apart into this civil war. That was before 2011. But after that, I really don't know if they sustain that big brother position, these 5 countries. But I know kind of they are, let's say, they are very, very influential. South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Algeria, and Libya at that time. Now, not anymore Libya. But of course, currently you have countries like Ethiopia, and others, who are influential of the African Union. So this is why, number one, the African Union decided to respond. And my question is, Why not responding in the same way when foreigners are continuously looting the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, for years, decades? Why stay quiet? We have Sudan, where there is genocide as we speak. Why staying quiet? Our people, our African brothers and sisters, because of their skin colors, those with darker skin color are being exterminated selectively with the war by the war that's going on in Sudan. Why are you quiet? We all know the Middle East, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and others, how they are, sponsoring or funding those generals with weapons and money for the war to continue, and then loot the gold of Sudan. There are evidences showing this, and you stay quiet. And I remember 4 years ago, was it in 2020, when the war broke out in the northern part of Ethiopia, which went on for 2 years. The United States, with its allies, have accused Ethiopia repeatedly, even told, the same method of trying to demonize the government and make it in front of the world that Ethiopia is breaking, and it was its general sitting in Djibouti from AFRICOM was threatening how they are ready to intervene. The African Union stayed quiet. Why now? I mean, I'm not saying why you reacted for Nigeria, but I'm just saying why acting selectively. This is why it makes African Union totally, for people to look at it as a useless organization, useless institution, because it's not uniform. Yeah, so that is why I said it's a selective response. Also, even if, let's say that the African Union has been consistent in its being vocal, talking on behalf of its member states, this and that. But does it even matter? As 85%, as we speak, only 15% of the African Union budget is covered by its member states. 85% comes outside of Africa, mainly by Europe, some directly, like European countries, some through the institution of the European Union itself, and the United States. And to some extent, you have China, who built the building and other things it's doing. So all your programs, particularly your peacekeeping mission, it's supported by the foreign government. This is why you are not saying anything. Why not the African Union act when Bola Tinubu, Nigeria itself, by the way, the same countries that we are talking about, when they threatened Niger in 2023, when that revolution happened, Bola Tinubu, in the name of ECOWAS, threatened to militarily intervene in Niger, which was sponsored by, France and the United States. So they are using ECOWAS as a camouflage. And the African Union stayed quiet, because the French government supports and funds a lot of money to the African Union. And at that time, of course, Faki Mohammed was a good friend of, obedient to the French government, as it is, as they are all anyway. Why now? This is why, as much as I love that institution, but again, I cannot deny that it's just useless. Am I giving up on that institution? No, it just needs a good leadership. And I know that most of the power lies within the presidents, the member states, these little individual sovereign states, in which they didn't want to give up when Kwame Nkrumah called for that political unity in 1963 when the Organization of African Unity was established. So, having said all this, now I'm going to look at now how are Nigerians themselves reacting to the U.S. threatening or being concerned and saying they want to bring their military intelligence, this and that, to Nigeria to defend so-called the Christian people in Nigeria, right? Okay. Now, according to my own reading, of course, I can speak only on behalf of myself, and I have to frame it as per my reading. The United States is not just interested only in really, as it says, defending the Christians there, but also they are aiming at to be, once they set in there, then there is no way out. They also want to be close to what's happening in the Alliance of the Sahel states, and Nigeria would make a very good gateway for them. So there are things we need to look at surrounding this. It's not just Nigeria. Well, now I'm gonna go, and this I found it on LinkedIn, and it's an interesting because it shows you the different side of Nigeria. You may think that, oh, Nigerians will say, okay, we want our sovereignty, don't intervene, this and that. But there's another side, in fact, from the intellectual group who are supporting the intervention. Let me pull that up. Oh my God. Okay, I hope I did not miss it. Okay, I don't seem to find it. There was a post on LinkedIn. Oh my God, was it this one? Let me see. Yeah, I think I found it. Sorry about that. Now, this is a Nigerian person, and he has many followers on LinkedIn. He writes really well. So look, it reads as follows. When US comes to the Nigerian aid, they are not coming to shoot people at random. I don't know why some Nigerians are apprehensive about this. If they are really intervening, they are coming with intelligence and data which Nigeria obviously lacks or fails to use. Nigeria's insecurities problem isn't bullets or bombs, it's brains. Counterterrorism tactics are 80% intelligence, 20% action. Most of these bandits slash terrorists can't afford a 700k naira rifles up front. So who funds them? who supplies them with bullets and other weapons. Insecurities in Nigeria is a multi-million dollar economy, and powerful people profit from it. Until that network is exposed, terrorism will thrive. In 2021, Dubai provided Nigeria with a list of sponsors who crowdfunded Boko Haram with almost $1 million. But Nigeria did not act on it till date, or at least not publicly known. That is his post. Now, you will be amazed the reaction that he got. So this one is saying, okay, the post was from, his name is Mayowa J. Now a commentator below read or write, destruction, deception, destruction, extraction. Please look at results. Every African nation that has experienced global North intervention, covert or overt. Libya, Zimbabwe, Angola, Algeria, Congo, Somalia, Sudan, Uganda, South Africa, and more. The real change comes as each African nation works on solutions that enable it control their resources and add value in country, thinking strategically to ensure any external investment is capped and includes joint ventures, technology, and skills transfer with the nation, retaining control to retain revenue internally for infrastructure and capacity building for what matters for its population. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Now, another one says the crisis in the Middle Belt is religious crisis at all, but a land issue. When okay. It's other comments, but yeah, there are many that support it, and there are others also that do not. Okay, what this one says, I did not hear Trump say he's coming to attack the Nigerian nation or oust her president. He specified his interest to kill terrorists that have settled well in Nigeria. The USA, as a superpower, has an obligation to maintain world peace. Oh my God, he's telling you. Okay. The Nigerian government should embrace this offer and find ways to collaborate and use American resources to end this disgraceful war. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Our government may not solve this problem even in 50 years. Okay. Another one says, U.S. intervention is a two-edged sword. Removing terrorists and bandits can bring immediate security benefits. Yet, the long-term political, social, and reputational costs can be severe. History shows that some U.S. interventions in the Middle East have unintentionally fostered conditions for new or expanded extremist movement. Well, I wouldn't say it or cover it or try to sanitize it with an intentional thing. It is intentional what they have done in Libya, right? What they have done also in Syria, leaving the country like that, in also Afghanistan. What they have done in Libya is they have created, they were actually the presence of NATO, led by mainly France and the US, has been an incubator for many terrorist organizations to be born out of as a result of their presence. So yeah, this exactly, David Nathan, and that's a bullshit. I don't. How stupid are we really? It's like, when the West came. I don't know, was it to which country they brought when they go to, was it to take slaves from Africa or colonizing Africa? I don't know. During one of those times, they brought a disease in Africa that killed many eventually. So, in their research, there was this European lecturer that told us unintentionally they brought that disease. Well, really, unintentionally. So, yeah. Um, so that is, my reflection on this one. And there are people, Nigerians themselves, really, who supports this because they say Bola Tinubu is purposely, they, or actually the government also before that, they are not willing to really tackle this terrorism issue, and there's something that they're benefiting out from their presence. In fact, they say they go and they talk to the terrorist leaders and they take money. I mean, no, they reward them with money, actually with cash. And there are evidences on social media all over. That's what I read from the my reading. Yeah, smallpox blood. Thank you, David Nathan. Oh my God, exactly. So it's not a new tactic, definitely. Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, I really want to hear Nigeria. There is no OCA today here. I really want to, or the Juma Boutique. I want to hear from them what they say about this. USA made an ISIS head chopper the president. Exactly. Every nation will have its useful idiots, if not open collaborators. Follow the money and the motives usually come clear. Definitely, I agree. Dilemma. The innocent fishing boats the USA blew up had Christians on them. Wow. Thank you, David. Ukraine killed people in Mali. We heard nothing from the African. Yeah, selectively. That's why I say selectively they are responding to this just nonsense thing, and we are not accepting it. So we, by the same token, also we ask, what about Sudan? What about the Sahel states? What about DRC? Why are you keeping quiet? What about Libya as well? What about Tanzania as we speak, with that chaos that's going on, which now activists are saying nearly 1,000 people are killed? In fact, the African Union went ahead and congratulated President Samia Suluhu. Why not condemning that? So this makes it, even if, the content of that statement by itself, it's very good, well written. Yes, they have cited the principles and values of what that institution stands for and defending the member state, but make it uniform. You can't act selectively and for people and expect for people to take you seriously. No. So that is my take. Thank you very much. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, share the video with others, and give it a like if you find it informative enough. Okay, please help us to grow. Share the video, that means a lot. But if you want to help us further, you can also donate to the PayPal account. You can find it in the description section. And I will see you on the next one. Okay, Ping One, we see you. Welcome as well. And all of you, thank you. It's a bye-bye from me. Ciao. I will see you on the next one.